without any feedback or input from the local communities. I was really disappointed, you know, that now it's a reaction rather than something that could have been proactive. I talked briefly the other day with John Snyder, who is a city council person in Spokane, represents the south end of Spokane, city of Spokane, and he sent me an email, and he said, my concerns are threefold. As a council member, I represent the south side of Spokane, and many of my constituents are devoted bike riders on the roads and trails of the Palouse. He said, I support the Washington State Parks vision of the John Wayne Trail as part of a statewide trail system that crosses the state, providing tourism and recreational activities. It's my understanding that the John Wayne Trail is the longest rail trail in the United States. And lastly, he said the city of Spokane has spent over $4 million and set aside an additional $4 million to improve the Fish Lake Trail, which connects to the Columbia Plateau Trail and the John Wayne Trail. By closing of the John Wayne Trail would have an adverse effect on the Fish Lake Trail by severing its connection with the cross-state trail system. They have spent $4 million, budgeted another $4 million. I believe that we just, he had some comments, but he said he really thinks that closing the John Wayne Trail was short-sighted. He said that I am considering a resolution in support of the trail with the Spokane City Council, and that at the last he said that he's positive that the impact on Spokane is adversely affected then by closing the John Wayne Trail. So that's probably all that I'll have to say. So, other council members?
Any other city council members or officers of Tekoa Trestle Association? I know you had a follow-up, Monty.
You know, I also was a little disappointed in the answers that everything's from here on out. We're going to do something in the future. We're going to do something in the future. But the future is built on what you've done in the past. So we just can't say, forget everything. We're just going to go from here. I got a group together. We're going to work on that, and we're going to go from here. Every single statement made started with, we're here now. Let's go from here. But the past has a lot to do with what you've done. And we wanted your thoughts on it, just as John said. We wanted your thoughts on it. If we wanted the committee's thought, we'd form a committee ourselves. We want your thoughts, what you think, not what you're going to get from the committee. The other thing is that I had a evaluation figured out by a math person, and they figured the trail from Columbia River to Mullen is worth just short of $1 million if you were to sell it. And that would be selling it cheaply at $500 an acre. It would be $981,750 of giveaway, which we're not willing to give away.
Okay, looks like more comment than a question. So anybody here from TECO with a question?
Can I?
Oh,
I'm not
oh
saying
yes.
that, but my question was, I don't understand why we can't just keep it open and not spend any more money. I mean, it's been that way for 35 years. You know, I don't see that it's costing the state any money. So why wouldn't we just leave it open and keep it the way it is? You know, at no cost to anyone.
Please.
I've been accused of a lot of things because of late, and that's fine, it's politics. People don't always agree with me, and I get that. I do believe that the adjacent property owners have legitimate concerns. And my question is, what are we going to do about it? I know that you're unhappy that you want to know my thoughts. I proposed this as a solution to where we're at now, and how we can deal with this, and to move ahead. I guess I view that as proposing the solution to a very difficult situation with people on very vast, different opinions about the trail. And I'm willing to work with them and to move ahead and to do that. Again, to propose a solution to this. I guess, in my mind, I have to represent all the taxpayers, that's the trail riders and the property owners. There are some problems, let's address them. And there's problems with the trail too, cave-ins, rocks falling, and those type of things, we're gonna have to address those also. But we're also gonna have to address the problems that are associated with the trail. And that would be my response.
Anybody else from?
Just a minute, just a minute.
All right,
Just a minute.
let him go.
You represent more than just the trail riders and the property owners. You represent all of the people. And if the people don't use the trail, but they still want the trail open, they still have a say. You're not representing,
I think that's accurate, yes.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else from TECO? Any city? Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
I wanted to tell Mr. Schmick that yes, there was a young man that came from Seattle and walked into my farm, which is right across the river. The trestle was closed and he walked into our property. He's a 34-year-old architect from Seattle. He's a nice young man. We had a great afternoon visit. I showed him into Idaho. My concern is that I've been a big supporter of the Government Trail Riders. They've been here for over 35 years, I think. They're very conscientious people on our trail. I also am a family that owns farm ground. When we spoke earlier at a meeting, we did address some issues. And they were sort of looked at, and I felt looked over. Concern about fire, concern about theft at our homes and that kind of thing. So I think that needs to be addressed. I think you're right there. But I think we also need to be aware that the trail is a vital part of Whitman County.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else from TECO? Cliff?
I have a comment as well as a couple of questions. First off, you Representative Schmick, you keep talking about a group. Who is this group, and how long do you think it's going to take to come to an informed decision, since obviously you don't believe you have the information that you need?
Well, I hope that the group will put together today from the people who are here, who've shown interest in this, and I hope that we'll have some conclusion actually before the session starts. At least that's what I envision, to answer your question.
Okay. And also, and this is kind of a rhetorical question, Mr. Wagner over there, Fred Wagner, he showed some slides, and I know for a fact they rode the entire length of the trail and said they didn't encounter the garbage and items, you know, washers, dryers, dumping grounds that we've all heard about through the newspaper articles that you obviously think everybody has read. But he didn't encounter any of that. He encountered some grass clippings on the trail. You know, I understand you have to protect both the landowners, the trail users, as well as the people of Washington. But, you know, like I say, there's a man and a kid that rode the entire length of the trail and basically encountered none of this. Now, vandalism is going to happen. If you have bad intention going onto somebody's property, you're going to do it regardless, whether the trail is opened or closed. If there's a way in there, you're going to do it. If you're going to steal from a landowner, you're going to do it regardless. Most of the people, I would say, probably 99.9% of the people that use the trail are good people, and they just want to use the trail. So you made a comment that, you know, you weren't going to necessarily ask that the trail be closed, but you also said you didn't say it was going to remain open.
And that is accurate. I do have pictures, if you'd like to see them. I do have pictures that I took. So.
Okay. I would all love to see it.
No.